Welcome to SheBoss. To say that I'm excited about today is a bit of an understatement because this lady right here happens to be one of my dear, dear friends. This is Michelle Epling, who is the executive director of the Madison Chamber of Commerce and one of the biggest champions of small business you will find in North Alabama. So cheers, Michelle, to you. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
So excited that you're here. Of course, we've got to do this over a cocktail. And it's 9, but Michelle's already been working for like 8 hours this morning, typical of an ED.
Yeah, I started at 5:55 this morning.
There you go.
So,
so she is working behind the scenes for the city of Madison.
Absolutely.
So,
Every day.
I know.
Every
So
day.
thank you so much. So we have, Flourish is such a huge fan of the Madison Chamber of Commerce. We're here in Madison. We love this city. My kids go to school here. We just love this community. So talk to us just a little bit about how you got into this role. And there's a huge history of your background, which some people know, but some people don't. But
Right.
how did you come to be and find yourself in the role of the executive director here?
Well, someone called me and asked me to go on an interview. And I love interviews, and I wasn't going to turn it down. I didn't actually think they'd hire me. So, but it was just a fun opportunity to practice my interview skills at the time. And they ended up offering me the job. And 3 years later, we're having fun and just shining a joy on the city of Madison is what I like to say. And, some of my background, I think, really helped me get the job. So 13 years in corporate as a corporate sales trainer, traveling the Southeast in corporate boardrooms, one-on-one with customers, teaching their employees how to cross-sell products and services, building that culture within a company's organization. My mom and I started our own clothing business about 10 years ago. We did trunk shows. We did Under the Christmas Tree. That expanded into our family pecan business, which we still have. We have the largest pecan business in North Alabama, and on top of 20 years of volunteering and giving back to nonprofits in the community. So I always like to say it's jack of all trades and master of a few.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you definitely have that entrepreneurial business mindset in your family.
Absolutely.
When you think about your dad, who is such a critical individual in this community and so influential. So Joe Newberry, who currently is president of Federal Credit Union, a huge credit union, largest in the state.
Yeah,
second.
maybe
largest?
it's huge.
Yeah, huge. So your and you're all here, and your brother's heavily involved in the local school board, and your girl. it's a family affair.
It is. It is, and we all just try to give back because the community, we feel like, has given so much to us, and we just feel like it's our duty and honor to give back to the wonderful community we live in.
Yeah. And I love that your mom, Marie, was recognized as one of the Women Honoring Women through the Women's Economic Development Council Foundation last year, which was just awesome.
That was quite a secret process we had to do. Yes, I had to work behind the scenes secretly getting her resume. So that was super fun. We had a nonprofit that had to interview her for something else. So we told them the reporter had to get her resume for that interview. And there was a lot of work behind the scenes to make that nomination happen. And she did forgive me after that.
Well, and what an amazing accolade,
Yes.
And the Women Honoring Women is such an amazing event where, it's put on by women. And the intent is to recognize and celebrate those influential females in our community who spend their life giving back, truly.
And she truly has.
Yeah,
she was 30 years as the controller of one of the biggest manufacturing plants at the time in Huntsville, St. Gobain Industrial Ceramics. And while she'd worked full-time, she was involved in Gothic Guild and Symphony Guild and all those while working full-time before she retired. So truly very well-deserved accolades. And I'm just so proud of her. And she's just led by such a wonderful example for me. Yeah. Truly the definition of altruism. Yeah. My parents. Yeah.
And grace and class.
Yes.
Like your parent, I just adore them. Just adore them. So let's talk about the city of Madison.
Absolutely.
Because we have been in this community now for about 5 or 6 years, but spent a good majority of our time in Southeast Huntsville. So I've been in this town for about 20 years. And, from the outside looking in as a community citizen, Madison was always this little kind of sleepy town.
That's where you went to go eat at Edo, right? If you wanted a road trip on a Friday
let's
night.
go all the way out there.
To Madison.
Right.
Ito's back when 20 years ago, that was
exactly. And it was just, it seemed so far away, so separated, so distant. And when we moved out to this community a couple of years ago, I was completely blown away and truly felt as though, and I don't mean to sound cheesy, but this was like my community.
Yes.
Because the people here
want to feel like that.
Yeah. The people here are about community and about our school system and about, giving back. And it's the fastest growing zip code in the state of Alabama.
The number one zip code according to Niche, and
I'll give it 2 thumbs up on that for sure.
To live. And,
it's so exciting. So and seeing just the development and explosion of growth, economic growth, industrial growth, educational growth, within the Madison County itself. Madison, the city of, has really taken its own sort of path, and helped contribute to that. So talk to us just a little bit about what was Madison, where Madison is today, where it's going, and sort of how you see things kind of come into fruition from your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, Madison, I grew up in South Huntsville, and Madison was that sleepy town over there. And, seeing the growth is just unprecedented. I mean, when you look, every day, even as the chamber president, I'm like, oh, I got to call that business. I didn't know they opened yet, and so that is just such an exciting, it won't always be like that.
Yeah.
Because we are landlocked. So, we're not always, but it's such an exciting time for Madison right now. And, finding our niche and our lane. I always tell people, you might work in Huntsville, you might work in Decatur, you might work in Athens, but you live in Madison, in the community. That's where you plant your roots. That's where you're connected. And the schools are just second to none. And I shout that from the rooftops. And I am very proud of it, because that is our future workforce. So when you talk about a Chamber of Commerce and you talk about businesses, that is the next generation, and educating the best of the best. The things we just come to expect in Madison City Schools is unheard of in other school districts. And I'm just so proud of each and every department and what they do and the volunteers that make that happen.
Yeah. We were, as a parent of a child who was in middle school, when we transitioned from one school district to the other, we were blown away at the difference. And it's not to say that one was bad or, it was just very different.
Right.
And it was very clear about the intention and path that is carved for students from day one.
Yes.
And it's a very intentional path that they go down. And you can tell that through our superintendents who walk the walk and talk the talk, to our businesses who pour money into the school system, who get involved in our local school board and all of that. It's night and day. And on top of that, the schools are beautiful. The educational system.
The dinosaur. Have you seen it?
I haven't. No.
There's a life-size dinosaur on that. It's huge. You got to drive by it and we'll try it. It's so fun.
Yeah. Well, and
joy.
And there's a jet in front of my son's high school, like a legitimate jet, which is just really, really cool.
Yeah, that is fun.
Yeah. But besides the school system, the community itself has grown so much, and just the economic development and what's happening with Town Madison and my sister's visiting from out of town, and we live over right by Mill Creek and the Greenway and all of that. And she was blown away at how much green space we have everywhere. We're just surrounded by it, which is so exciting. So talk to us just a little bit about the development in that aspect too, as far as business and industry, and sort of who's planted their roots here from that perspective, and where do you kind of see some of that growth happening?
Sure. Well, we just did a major ribbon cutting yesterday for Sunbelt Rentals, right there at the corner of Madison Boulevard and County Line. If you think of what Sunbelt does, helping all the other construction that's happening within our community. And it was just really exciting to be there for that ribbon cutting. And then you go over to Town Madison, Chicken Salad Chick's opening up in 2 weeks. I got a ribbon cutting scheduled for that this week. And, then you go over and look at what's happening on County Line Road, and just, things are being built every day and getting approved. And, it really does start to feel like we've grown up, and we are truly, you don't have to leave. What I tell people every day that we do a ribbon cutting, whether it's for a medical office, it's someone like Sunbelt Rentals, you no longer have to drive to Decatur or to Huntsville or to Athens to go to the doctor, to go to a dermatologist, to go to a plastic surgeon, and just the quality of life that impacts a Madison resident. I now can go to my dermatologist on my lunch break, versus I used to block off 2 to 3 hours, because you got to drive 30 minutes into Huntsville or South Huntsville, and then you have to wait for an hour and a half. That's half your day. Right. And so just the things that are opening truly are changing the lives of our residents. And we are just beyond thrilled about that.
So when you and I originally met a couple of years ago, this was when you started the position for the very first time, 3 years ago?
It was 3 years ago, November of 2021.
Which is insane to me.
That is crazy.
It's weird, because I'm like, does it feel like yesterday? Because I feel like I've known you forever anyway. But knowing where we both were in life, right? And knowing where what you envisioned to achieve for the chamber and what you envisioned to achieve for the community, you knew being in that role for the very first time, you had a long road ahead of you.
Yes.
It was not an easy journey that you had. And I can validate that because I was there and watched it
Watched
happen.
me cry into some scrambled eggs one day. And
We've all been there.
yeah,
we have all been there, right?
Yes.
And it was, and I think one of the most beautiful things to witness that has consistently been woven throughout that journey is your desire to achieve success for the community.
Absolutely.
Regardless of how hard that journey was going to be, regardless of how many doors you had to go bang on to raise money for the golf tournament.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yes, I did that again yesterday.
Yeah. But you're always doing the thing that needs to be done. And there's never once been an effort that has been ever beneath you, regardless of the position that we carry, right?
Right.
Because your goal has always been to be there for the city of Madison.
Absolutely.
And that has consistently permeated through everything you've done. And it's been such a beautiful journey to watch unfold, because I can personally say, and I know our team can say this as well, where, the Madison Chamber was a sleepy little chamber that had
270 members. And
how many members do you have now?
512.
512. That is, they've doubled, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And I was sharing this earlier where, looking at the newsletters that are coming out, and it's like, welcome our new members. And you have to keep scrolling to see the list, which I just love.
So exciting.
It's so exciting.
So exciting. Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people really realize the benefits that a chamber can bring to a small business.
Absolutely.
So we are a small service-based business here. We literally sit with one foot in Madison, one foot in Huntsville, but we are actively involved in both chambers. But the benefits that it brings to an individual member are huge. So talk a little bit about what that means for whether you're a small business such as ours or a larger business here too. The benefits are great either way. So
absolutely. I think every business should join the chamber. I think if you break it down, if you're a small business, it's based on the number of full-time employees. So if it's only 1 or 2 person shop, you're looking at $26 a month.
Yeah.
I know people look at, it's $300. Well, let's break this down, if you break it down per month, but what you get for those dollars far exceeds that. We have Friday flyers, so any of our businesses can submit through our website a new marketing campaign every other Friday to go out to our over 4,000 subscribers to our email list. Yes.
Great advertising.
To get your message out at absolutely no cost to our members.
Yeah. I look forward to those too, because I'm like, who's doing what?
Yeah,
what's going on?
But it's fun to get to see what's going on and then see how the businesses are changing, right?
Absolutely.
So maybe one week they're focused on this, and it's like, oh, I didn't know they were doing that. And, that is definitely a free service that you can take advantage of. And then, fundamentally, when I started, one of the things I did is I had the opportunity to meet with a bunch of other chamber presidents across North Alabama. We truly have regionalism up here in North Alabama. And I asked him, I said, what's a chamber do? So I got offered the job, and I was like, what's a chamber do? Like, how's it any different than Rotary? Rotary puts on a luncheon, and BNI puts on a breakfast networking event. There's multiple great BNI, and they said, well, what's your public policy agenda state? And I think a lot of people don't realize your membership dollars also invest in our public policy agenda, which helps us go advocate for all 500 businesses. So we, did a joint trip with Montgomery with the Huntsville Chamber. That was a wonderful first, trip on advocacy. And so there's a lot of advocacy work that goes on behind the scenes that's part of your chamber membership that people don't realize, on top of the networking opportunities you have. We just did a wonderful event last week, Business Over Breakfast, over 100 people. Dr. Nichols and Dr. Carr, they didn't give an update on the schools. They explained how to be a leader.
I love that.
And leadership advice. I can't tell you the number of people that walked out of the event and was like, oh my gosh, I learned so much. And so it's almost like every leadership self-help book, but heard from Dr. Carr, who's our president of UH.
Yeah, brand president.
And our school superintendent. And just their wisdom, can truly just immediately go back in the office and implement the wisdom that I love that. They did that. And so people don't realize, oh, I have to pay $35, $40 to go to this breakfast. But you basically read a whole leadership book in an hour, Well,
and as a small business to capitalize on, as you mentioned, just the network portion of it.
Yes. And that's the fun part of it. It's 100%. So fun. I love that part of the chamber. Yeah.
Me too. I when we say this all the time, where we sort of feel, and I know you can attest to this as well, where Huntsville, Madison County, this area, it's like a half a degree of separation. Such a huge city, fast-growing city, so much happening. so much that our economy is fueling on a national and international scale as well.
Yes.
Have such an impact in aerospace and biosciences and this and that, but everybody knows everybody.
Yes.
And like you and I are probably connect. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yes.
just, and that's just how this community works. And
that's how you grow your business.
yeah,
You know, and it's not.
People expect that here too.
Yeah.
Like it's very well received, I think, as long as you go into a relationship with, you know what I'm saying, with just like an honest approach, and it's not everything's a salesy thing, but like it's just, I think people here are really, you know, they receive that very well.
Absolutely. And it's all about the relationship. And I think that's what a chamber offers you, is the opportunity to truly build those deep relationships and networks. Because, you know, your next lead might not be from who your key customer you think should be.
Yeah.
It could be from an acquaintance you met and exchanged cards and they really liked you, and then something came across their desk and they're now referring it to you. So
Right.
I think people forget the impact that, you know, acquaintances really can have in building that strong web and growing your business.
Yeah. Well, we always talk about us being a marketing company. We always talk about brand, the importance of a strong brand. And, you know, I think this is not my quote. I think Jeff Bezos said this at one point, but when you think about your brand, you know, your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room.
Yes.
And when you think about getting involved in a chamber and and having, you know, being an advocate for other small businesses and speaking on behalf of your areas of expertise and giving back for the right reason.
Absolutely.
There's just something to be said for that, you know, and so I think getting involved in that is just, it's a win-win across the board. And there's a lot of exciting events coming up within the Madison Chamber.
We're having so much fun.
You guys have the best time. And I have to say, so the Madison Chamber, like a lot of chambers, have an ambassador program.
Absolutely.
Your ambassadors are the most adorable, fun. We had so much fun with a group of them, ladies at the Rosé Ball. You both, if you remember, we had so much fun with a lot of your ambassadors. But you guys just, I don't know, there's just a different vibe with the Madison Chamber. There just is. I don't know what you're feeding them on their annual ambassador luncheons, but they have such a great energy.
Part of the tribe, right? Or family. And, you know, when you feel like you're making an impact, it's easy to express that. And, you know, I heard it yesterday. I was going around meeting some vendors and they said, oh, your ambassadors already came by and pitched this. And I just love that. You know, it doesn't have to, it's not just me. It's not just my team, but we have this tribe of people. And I tell them this at every major event I get to speak at. I say, y'all are the heartbeat of the Madison business community. And them and our board of directors, they really are the heartbeat of our organization. Yeah. You know, we might be behind the scenes making the centerpieces and you know, the graphics, but they are the ones that really are truly building that culture and, you know, together with us. And it's just so fun.
It is so fun. And they all have such a great energy and they're just, they're doing, it's just awesome.
Yeah. And they get excited when we get a new, I mean, you know, that's what's so fun is like, they're just as excited for the referral as we are to receive it because, you know, they want us to grow. And, you know, that's just the biggest compliment, I think.
It's exciting. Yeah. So we have, which Flourish will absolutely be at. We have the Mayor's Cup.
Yep, we have the Chamber Cup.
The Chamber Cup. The Chamber Cup. Okay, the upcoming golf tournament.
Yeah, the September 23rd.
So much fun. Okay, September.
Canebrake Country Club.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, Canebrake this year, and we're really excited about it. We sold out last year, and we're probably going to even maybe be able to do 2 flights this year, morning and afternoon. So,
do you remember what gold we took home last year?
I do. It was, I don't remember what I called it, but it was
we won.
Best Loser Award.
We had the highest score.
Highest score, yes, the highest score.
We won.
Yeah, they won.
Remember it?
Yeah, they won.
We won.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what we do. When Flourish shows up, that's what we do.
You win, always. Yeah, a good team outing, though.
We had a phenomenal time. Yeah. It was so much fun. And I think we were the last ones coming in. Don't know why. I didn't think we took too long. We just had a lot of fun.
Yeah, but that's
and then Celebrate Madison.
Yes.
Love Celebrate Madison.
We love Celebrate Madison.
So much fun.
It is. This is our 3rd annual Celebrate Madison, if you can believe it.
One of the very first one.
First one. And to see it grow, I mean, I think people look forward to it. It is just unlike anything else that's done in our community. So for the people that don't know, Celebrate Madison is our version of a State of the City. But when you think of a typical State of the City, it's that rubber chicken dinner at a seated table. And we basically took everything about that and flipped the table upside down and said, how do we involve the community? You live in Madison because you believe in the schools, you believe in the community and the quality of life. And so we opened the gates to Toyota Field. We give out 500 free hot dogs, soda, and ice cream. The concourse is just lined with activities for kids, but people over 21. There's an over 21 section of that we started last year. And then we also recognize the military. So that's a big portion of Celebrate Madison. A lot of people that live in Madison, are part of the military. And so giving out that Military Family of the Year award is a key part of it. And then hearing an update from the mayor and everyone else on what's going on and what's the next things happening. And so we just love that and look forward to it, and the free fireworks show and the face painting. And
fireworks are the best.
Yes, and it is so good.
So fun. In Town Madison at Mazda Toyota Field where the Trash Pandas play. Such a good time.
It's so fun.
Such a good time. Their fireworks are amazing. And I think I can definitely speak on behalf of our team when I say anytime we get a chance to engage with Mayor Finley, I don't know that we could have asked for a better mayor to represent our city. I may be biased in that because he's given Frisbee disc golf, thing,
Oh, yes. At Sunshine Oaks. Yeah,
I did. Because we live right by Sunshine Oaks, and he's big into, Frisbee golf.
Yes.
And so I was like, well, he's like, have you ever played? I'm like, no, we haven't, but my boys really want to get out there. Well, the next day he shows up at my house with a box of Frisbee.
Oh, I love that.
You know what I mean? Discs for my son and taught him how to play. And I'm like, that's our mayor of, so my son thinks that he's famous now because he's like buddies with the mayor. But I don't know that there is truly a better representation of community than from him and from his team. And
absolutely. Him and his team work very hard to focus on the quality of life of Madison.
Amazing.
And we are so blessed with our mayor, with our city council. I mean, they truly do so much behind the scenes that people don't realize. And there's a lot of work that goes in to being a mayor that people don't see. And, Mayor Finley has taken me right along, with the joint partnership with the Huntsville Chamber for the Montgomery trip. And we're just so blessed to have him at the helm.
It's a lot of fun. I know people can complain all day long about a pothole, but when you really realize the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, it's like you got to put it into perspective a little bit. But we are so thankful that we get to be in your orbit for the things that you are doing in our community. And it's been such an absolute joy to watch your business flourish. And I didn't mean to be so cheesy about that, but I truly do mean that though. And I know you know what I'm talking about because it has not been an easy journey. And I think when you believe in community and you've got the heart that you do and the passion and the grit that you learn from your parents, like there's nothing that you can't achieve, And
I just have a great team now, and I think that's so fun is the team that's behind me, is truly making, I always say we make magic happen and we make it look easy and it's not, but we have a whole team that works so hard behind the scenes.
And you guys can tell that you really love what you do.
We do.
Yes.
Yeah. The whole team does, and the board and the ambassador. I mean, it's fun to watch it grow, and, we're the 9th largest city in Alabama, and, let's shout that from the rooftops. And, I tell people every day, post positive things. There are Facebook groups out there that complain all day long. Well, there's a lot of good things that happen in Madison every day. So let's get loud and, shout from the rooftops the good things that are also happening in Madison. Because I don't know about you guys, every day I turn the corner, there's something else that we're blessed to have in the city. So.
Agreed. Well, you are one of them.
Oh,
so cheers to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
See
you guys next time.